of asking questions. And most of the time when I do make a major statement like that, it's wrong. And I hope with all of my heart that newspapers endure. Let me tell you something. I don't know whether Rick Hogan's here or not, but Rick one day talked about, listened to him on the radio, he said a daily newspaper is a miracle every day. The newspaper has so many different elements to it. You may read it because you like the New York Times bridge column, for God's sake. When you read a newspaper like I read it, you really read it. You find that on page 27 of the story on Afghanistan, that's the heart of the piece, and now you can go from there. You seldom get that online. Just remember, when you're building your models and the alternatives, that there is that there will be that huge loss. The only reason I talked about from how do you get from here to there is because of the current financial crisis. Normally this would have gone, if we were a horse and buggy convention, and we were sitting here and saying, well, you know, it's hard to get those roads built. You know, Mississippi doesn't want us to build a road there because it's going to scare the chickens. They figured it out. The roads got built, the cars got built, all of that, and no meeting like this could ever possibly have anticipated all of the possible consequences, unintended consequences, benefits, costs, etc., of all that transportation. The best we could have done in that horse and buggy convention was to say, we better get our asses prepared for something else. Because what we work for, which I love with all my heart, if newspapers die, there'll never be an adequate substitute for them. Like there was never an adequate substitute for Life magazine being delivered to you on that cold morning in 1943 when you were a kid, and you see a picture that brings home the war in a way that nothing else ever did. But that's dead. The newspaper as we know it is probably dead unless you want to pay a really high price for it in kind of the commemorative Tuesday afternoon. You know, the Detroit papers have it right. You know, we'll print it once a week to remind you that there's a paper there. If you want to pay a price for that, but essentially it's dead. And what I want you to remember is it might be dead in this town fairly soon. And so, Carol, everything you said about nonprofits can be lethal in terms of journalism. I know that. All I'm saying is, let's think about that next 5 to 7 years as we get out of the horse and buggy business, and we're being kicked out of